Go and open your handout to page 269. Today we're going to cover the investment problem. So investment problem is like, for example, if you have money and you put in a bank and you're going to earn interest, or the opposite of that is when you borrow money from the bank, then you have to pay interest. So, or maybe you buy stocks, or maybe buy like a mutual fund or whatever, okay? So that has to do with money, okay? What you're going to do with the money, and you either earn interest or pay interest. So that would be an investment problem. So when you read a problem, okay, once you find out that it's investment problem, you need to make a table. So the table that you need for investment problem, so this is going to be a little bit big, okay, and okay, so four columns. Okay, so this will be your first investment, and this will be your second, and this will be the total. Now, when you're going down again, this is the name of the investment. Okay, so like like a mutual fund, or it's like the stock. Okay. Now, the things that go on the side. This is your formula that you need to know. Okay, so it's P R T I. So notice I draw the double line. So this is when you multiply all three together, you get that. So P is a principal amount. So that's how much money that is invested, or how much money is in, or how much money you borrow. Okay, R stands for the interest rate, and T stands for time, like 1 year, 2 years, and so forth. Okay, I is the interest. So again, P is a principal amount, R is the interest rate, T is time, and I is the interest. So this is the table that you need to make. So let's go and do the example. So let's go to example 1. Okay, let's go to number 1. So again, first you read the problem. It says Mr. Hunter invested $10,000 in 2 different accounts. One account yields 10% interest, while the other yields 9.5% interest. How much did he invest in each account if his total annual interest was $971? So this is the investment problem. So you make a table. Okay, so you have the first, you have the second, and you have the total, and you have the P, R, T, I. And you can cross these two out. You cannot add those two. Okay, those two does not make sense. You only can add the total amount of money. So again, the principal amount is dollars, so that's why you can add. The interest is dollars, so you can add. But the interest and the time, you cannot add those two. Okay, then you go back and read. It says Mr. Hunter invested $10,000 in 2 different accounts. So you have to think. Okay, is $10,000 is the first, the second, or the total? So you have to think. Okay, so by reading that, you have to use a little bit of reading comprehension. So $10,000 is the total, right? Because it didn't say it's first, or it didn't say second, right? So that's the total amount. And it says one account yields 10%. So the first account is 10%. Now for this problem, you have to remember to convert the interest rate into decimals. So 10%, you move the decimal 2 places over. Okay, so this becomes 0.1. Okay, again, you have to move decimal 2 places over make into decimal. While the other yields 9.5%. So it'd be 0.095. Okay, because the decimal was over here before. So when you move 2 places over, it becomes 0.095. So make sure you take time to convert this correctly. Then it asks how much did he invest in each account. So how much? So I'm going to use F for first, and use S for second. Again, how much? You don't know. That's why it's variable. So how much did he invest in each of the account? If his total annual means 1 year. Okay. So again, the word annual means 1 year. So the total annual interest was, total interest is 971. Right? Again, so if you look over here, right, the total interest, right, total interest 971. So total interest 971. And just like any other problems, you need to multiply down the column. So when you multiply, you're going to get 0.1F. This one, you're going to get 0.095S. Okay, so now you're going to write your equation. So whenever there is variable, you need to have equation. So you see, you're going across, that's variable, so that's one equation. So you got F plus S equal to 10,000. And you got variable over here, so you go across, that's your second equation. So now you have to use your elimination method. So I am going to make the lower number the opposite, so I don't have to deal with negative numbers. I know that this is easier number, but you're going to end up with negative, so it's easier to make mistakes, right? So I'm going to multiply by negative 0.095. Okay, so multiply, so you're going to get 0.095F minus 0.095S equal to negative 950. So I'm going to put this underneath. So again, nothing new, right? Just like what we did before. So you have to be careful when you subtract. Use your calculator, right? So you're going to get 0.005F is equal to 21. Divide by 0.005. Divide by 0.005. So F equal to, now remember your label, right? So it'd be 4,200, so 4,200. Then use this equation because this is the easiest equation. Okay, so again, you have to use common sense, right? So don't use this equation. This equation is messy. So use this one. So 4200 plus S equal to 10,000. Right, so minus 4,200 minus 4,200. So S equal to 5800, and that would be your answer. And that's it. So again, it's similar to what we did before, so nothing really complicated. Okay, you just have to read and know where to go. Okay, so let's go and do some practice.